Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Grow with G. I'm so thankful that I have figured out how to use this new software now, and now I can keep uploading my podcast because I missed you all much, and I love doing this so much. So, I'm back with another episode, and this one is on how to get over indecision because honestly, I'm over it, and I have been crippled by indecision over the past few days, and I'm worried to keep spiraling in it. I have been researching indecision because that's the kind of person I am because I want to get over it. Like I'm so done with indecision. Like if you know me, I can be so indecisive. Like I remember one time I was standing in front of the cupboard being like, do I eat first or do I shower first? And I stood there for like 30 minutes because I was like, well, I want to be clean while I eat, but I'm really hungry, so I kind of need to eat. Everyone around me is just like, what are you doing? That's just like who I have been, but I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to be decisive. So I've been researching it, watching some TED Talks, looking up some articles, and at the start of my journey of becoming more decisive, and I'm sure I'm going to pick up more tips as I go because this is pretty recent learning for me that I want to put into practice. I'm sure it will evolve over time. So please give me some grace. And if there's any tips you have on dealing with indecision, please let me know. So the first thing I looked at is why are we indecisive? Like what is the psychology behind it? And the things that stood out the most for me, one, it's a fear of making the wrong choice. And my meditation teacher actually told me that too, as I would go to him a lot being like, what should I do? And asking him about it. So yeah, it's a fear that we're going to make the wrong choice, which as somebody who's an overthinker, as somebody who is very self-critical, that is my reality for sure. I regret a lot of things that I've done, but I'm really trying recently to adopt the mindset of everything happens for a reason. And really, when I look back in my life, even things that I might consider have been a wrong decision, everything has led me to where I am now. So every micro moment has led to such amazing opportunities that I never could have foreseen. So that's one main way to tackle that. And the other one is it's an insecurity of not knowing how to handle the situations. So it's really an issue with self-efficacy and belief in yourself that you can handle anything that comes your way. And that is why we tend to play fortune teller and think about all of the things that could go wrong, all the possible outcomes, even when we don't know the outcomes. A lot of the times you can't even predict the outcome or you just don't know the likelihood. And given that our mind has a negativity bias, it's really no surprise our mind goes there, but I think it's a believing in yourself and trusting that you have gotten through everything. Everything that's felt really tough in the moment, you've gotten over, or it's hurt less day by day, right? So it's completely possible for you to just trust yourself and know you will make the best decision at the time with the facts you have. When I regret things that I've done, the mantra I like to repeat to myself is I made the best decision at the time with the facts I knew at the time. That really keeps me in check. It really stops me spiraling because it's true. Whatever you did, no matter if it could have worked out better or if you wish you'd done something else, you truly made the best decision at the time. That's how I also think about future decisions is okay, I just need to make the next best decision. And honestly, that's really hard for me because, as I've said before on the podcast, I operate in extremes. Things are black or white for me. And I'm really trying to learn to come into the middle, into that gray area where things don't have to be one way or the other. You can try to find middle solution instead of extremes. By thinking in terms of, okay, like what is the next best decision? It can take a lot of pressure off the decision. When you're trying to find best decision is, try to find out what the knowable unknowns are. What are the active steps that you can take in reducing your fear of not knowing what to do? Because trying to find any information will go a long way in reducing any of that doubt you might be feeling. So try to come up with a list of questions of what don't you know you could find out. And another great way to take pressure off the decision is to reframe the decision. Instead of having that fear of making the wrong decision, is there a way where you could view both options as amounting to something positive and then picking the most positive one? I think we've all heard of reframing challenges into opportunities and how just that slight change in language can be such a motivating factor, right? So try to see how you could reframe the decision to a positive manner and then make the next best decision. And another great idea that I saw was write out a pros and cons list. And I've done this before, but I figured out what I was doing wrong. I was also including unknowns into the pros and cons. And this article that I found said just do the known factors, and you can include your feelings. I think that will help your list become a lot clearer. And other ways that I'm going to practice making clearer decisions is to just start with the micro moments where practicing with small decisions. Be decisive when somebody asks you your opinion on something. Don't opt for your normal, possible people pleasing ways of trying to give an answer that you think the other person will like, and build that conviction in yourself that your decisions, your opinions, everything matters and everything is unique to you. Because of that, you can make it with determination. And for the bigger ones, you can make that first decision, and then if things change over time, reflect and adjust. Just try to remember your decisions are not permanent. You can always change course of action, and try not to make decisions when you're in a highly emotional state. It is so tempting when you are overwhelmed, upset, to make a quick decision, but if it's possible, really take the time to slow down, ground yourself, get a couple good nights sleep, and meditate if you can, if that's in your practice. Focus on your breathing, get really mindful and present to bring you out of that emotional state, because there is psychology out there that when we're in our emotional state, our logical functions go down dramatically. So you want to make sure you make decisions in a regulated, calm state so that you can make the best choice possible. And when you're making that next best choice, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not permanent. And if all else fails, another thing that I've tried before is getting clear on my values, writing out the possible options, and then choosing which option allows me to live by my values the most. And while it's helpful to talk about your decisions with other people to help you get clearer about what you want, make sure that you always make the decision for yourself and not for anybody else, and don't live by other people's values. So this is a super short episode just because it's a new thing to me, but I really did want to try to start to understand indecision. Maybe I'll do a follow-up part 2, but I just wanted to share what's helping me and what's going through my mind as I've been facing some decisions coming up about if I keep traveling or if I go home for a bit of a reset. And there are quite a few complications to it, which is why I have been really anxious, but I hope that putting this research in and then teaching it to you guys, it can help me become more decisive too. So let me know if you have any tips and what works for you, and if anything here was helpful. Love you so much. Let me know if you like this shorter form episodes as well.